Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is July 12, 2024, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, big tech gets a huge sell-off. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So from the United States, we have two numbers. First at 2:30 South African time, we have a PPI, Producers Price Index, that's an inflation report on the producer side, and a UoM Consumer Sentiment at 4 p.m. Now, the markets are trading quite nicely, and we're looking at the Forex symbols. The British pound breaks through that resistance level to new highs for the year, while the Japanese yen strengthens versus the dollar. Now, shifting over to indices, watching the Dow Jones remain unchanged, while the NASDAQ gets a big sell-off off the back of big tech. Now, shifting over to commodities, gold gains nicely and a fade opportunity there, while oil slight gains on the upside. Now looking at the stocks, Microsoft, Meta, and Nvidia were the ones that had the biggest sell-off. The rest of the market is pretty much unchanged. Lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. Here we go. First with the British pound. Now I'm highlighting a weekly chart. Now we generally don't go to a weekly chart because we are intermediary or short-term traders, okay? And sometimes you just have to look at a weekly chart just to give us context. And right now, this is what I'm talking about. That black line on the chart right up here, okay, that is a 200-day moving average. We broke above it. Now look at every time we broke above a 200-day moving average, we generally, not always, but generally speaking, we trend in that direction. Okay, you could see it several times that we hit it, and then we trended that direction. So this may be a turning point for the British pound, for the US dollar, as there's a new government. A new government means new policies, new regulations. And remember, we were back down here, if you remember that, okay, politically speaking, that was the time when I think it was Theresa May who was the prime minister, and then you saw that massive sell-off. And then she got out of office, we rebounded, and now we have a conservative, Labour Party is in there. So that's an interesting situation. So markets are responding to it, okay? And this is how politics affect the financial world as well. So just look at it from a technical point of view. We're at 129.13. This is major. And so let's take a look at it. 4-hour chart. So we've been trading in this range. We've been respecting, okay, this one. I'm going to just highlight a little bit higher, right? Because that's where we're about 128.30, 128.50-ish level, okay? But we broke right through it, okay, with 129.12. Now, not massive type of volume, but enough volume for us to carry us higher. Now, the question is whether or not this is going to be a fade opportunity or this is going to find new area that it's going to continue trading in. And that's why I want to take a look at this today. So conceivably, we may get that fade opportunity as well. Now, jumping into the Japanese yen, a big correction here down to that 30-day moving average. There you go. That's a support area. Those of you who have come to my webinars will know that moving averages represent also support lines, and that's right there. Okay, so keep that in mind, as that may hold this line for now. Now jumping into commodities, gold gets a huge spike yesterday to 24.24. Now its all-time record highs is 24.50-ish level. We're not there yet, okay, but we did spike. Now this could be on the back of some concerns, inflationary concerns on the Fed speaking. Powell speaking the other day. If you look at a daily chart, you could see our third time that we're hitting this high. If this doesn't sustain itself, we will correct ourselves, okay, so keep that in mind. This is sometimes a knockout move for us to make a counter move in the other direction. So keep that in mind as well. Now looking at crude oil, a little bit of a gain here. Okay, slight gains to 83.27. We do still have some upside potential here as this is formulating itself. Now let's take a look at big tech. NASDAQ take a nosedive from 20,859 down to 20,400. Almost a 300 to 400 point move. Okay, with that said, what does it represent? It represents the computer stocks, the big tech, all right? And that's exactly what's happening. If we look at the big board, though, the Dow Jones didn't do much. 48,120 all-time record highs. And if we look at certain stocks, they hit all-time record highs. Bank of America, for example, okay? In this environment where it's everything is sell-off, take a look at Bank of America. Bank of America, highs for the year, okay? And finish the day on highs for the year. Look at that chart, okay? It's very, very strong. Okay, very, very strong. Interestingly enough, okay, JP Morgan around its highs. The banks do well in this type of environment. All right, now let's take a look at the big sell-offs. Microsoft selling off to 454 from 467. But this is profit taking. This doesn't mean that it's over, okay? But we are hitting a little bit of, I would say, turbulence in the markets right now, especially the end of August, beginning of September, as we're going into an election year, and it's not getting easier for either candidate, okay? For whatever reason, I don't want to get into it, but Meta also selling off big time, and Nvidia selling off significantly as well. Okay, and it's on supportish levels. So all three of them, I'm going to really look at it today because I want to see if there's follow through, if there is, or this is just, you know, investors booking some of their profits in this environment. Now, I'm not going to cover Bitcoin. It hasn't done anything, so I'm not going to cover it. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.